Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Welcome back to Collider Live. It's the Friday show. It's the end of the week. And, man, we thought, this is just going to be a little bit of a recap show, and we'll talk about, a little bit of what happened last night at Universal Studios, and that'll be the end of it. But leave it to Sony and Marvel and Kevin Feige again, I guess, to say, nope, fuckers, you should have a 2-hour show because there's some stuff to talk about.
Spider Pig.
That's right. Ashton Kutcher is here. Nice to see you. And joining, of course, Dorina, the Queen of Death, who actually really looks good.
So good in a hat. I can't
because I'm so exhausted from last night.
Hiding your eyes?
I'm so tired.
Yeah. It goes with
but
the black
great.
hair
well, and also,
soul.
Promoting the Heroes and Villains brand here.
Which, by the way, Heroes and Villains, if you didn't know, heroesvillains.com. You go to heroesvillains.com. You put in live 15, and you get yourself a discount. And yes, as we thought, the Collider Live audience destroying it. Not even a competition. We're Mike Tyson in 1986. So you guys, way to go.
Hit it up. It's ending.
It's ending
Those
today.
links are expiring. So
get on it. Yeah, you can only do this is the last time. So if you want to go, just maybe you're like, I don't know, not gonna do it. Go and browse at least. There might be something there. You don't want to miss this code. Live15 heroesvillains.com. Also joining us today, the Mulligan of Mulligans. Kane Mulligan.
Mark Riley. Oh, sorry.
Can I have a mulligan?
Can I have a mulligan?
Can I have a mulligan?
I like it.
Really digging this lipstick, Kate.
Thank you.
Girl,
Yeah.
You know I put a bold lip on for you.
Look at you. Look at blushing.
Of course she did.
I like that.
I know. I love it. I love it when Kate flirts with me.
I was saying to Jay Wade, who does the Afterlife podcast today, I was saying to them, I was like, they're like, we're going to play a game with you later. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, if it's push, fuck, marry, I know exactly who I'll do.
Oh.
I'll push Makuga, and I will fuck Dorina.
Yes.
I
Dorina knows
win.
that's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the third option?
Mary?
And who'd you take?
Ooh.
I didn't pick Mary yet.
Yeah.
Would you want to get married?
Sure. Kate, I would marry you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you know,
Wait,
Well,
so-
I got to check with my fiance.
Yeah.
you know,
Why is it called push, Mary? You're like, do you
Push, fuck. It's a you get like
push
you-
somebody in front of it?
You
They don't
push,
want
you
to kill
push somebody
anybody.
off a cliff.
Oh,
push somebody
okay.
in front
So
of a
it's-
train.
so it's kill.
Yeah, it's the light.
it's
the
a
lighter
nice
side.
way of
Yes,
saying
sorry.
push.
Yeah.
The good people over there.
Murder,
Cody
yeah.
Hall, how are you?
I'm doing great, Christian. How you doing?
You're not too thrilled with the lighting here today, huh?
No.
Yeah.
There's something
No,
going
it
on. It
looks like
happens.
crap.
It happens sometimes.
Do we look
Yeah.
like even worse than usual?
You guys look great.
Yeah, it's Cody Hall. I
It-
feel bad. We
It
didn't.
fits our mood,
How
I
does
would
Christian's
say.
goblet look?
Pretty good, right?
Just right in the
I
middle.
brought
Needs
it
more
back.
ice.
I brought
Look
it
at
back.
him.
It hasn't been back in a
Did you
while.
take it from medieval times and you
Well, I
stole
found
it?
a LaCroix. It was like the last LaCroix that was just sitting in a box. It's probably, I don't know, if you poured it on something, it'd probably melt your skin. But I
Bread
found
not
it.
going
drank
down.
it. What's
Bread
that?
not going down. So I was thinking cable guy.
Good for you.
Yep.
Keep going.
Okay, so
I
anyway,
was going
Cody,
there, too.
Cody Hall,
Yeah.
you did not join us last night. You were missed. But we did have a really fun time at Universal.
Wasn't that the best
Hornets. It was good.
night?
It was good. So, and just to let people know that this is not going to be the full-on coverage of that event because we don't have the video ready, and we have a lot of video to show. A lot of video. But we can talk a little bit about what went down, so you guys are looking forward to next week. And it was crazy. Listen, on the phone, we have a very special guest.
There it is.
We wonder if there's any sleep that was involved inside of this person's head. Hey, Josh McCouga, is that you?
Hey, yeah. I tuned in just as Kate was pushing me off a cliff.
Yeah, I was about to tell you. I was about to come clean on that
Yeah,
one.
well,
You've been so abused the last
Yeah.
24
That's true.
hours.
So, McCouga,
I was going to say, Jesus.
tell the audience what your experience was like last night.
Well, let me just say right now, I have like the worst headache I've had in a long time.
Oh.
It's from the pina colada.
Mostly from screaming, and like the pressure inside my brain. I think I don't know. I came home last night and Amanda was like, "Are you okay?" I like sweated through I made her feel my jeans, how sweated through
It
my
was
jeans. Where she was
Dorina.
psyched about
Yeah,
that.
Dorina.
She's also in the car.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, Dorina and I can.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Dorina and I can attest to that. We at one point. Well, let me give you a little on Dorina here too, because we're walking through and we went through the Ghostbusters one, and the Slimer comes out and he sprays you, and Dorina goes, "Oh, that's water."
I was having a
As I
very
run
magical
myself into a
moment.
wall.
Yeah, and Makuga, on the other hand, was trying to run through the walls. But at one point, I put my hand on Makuga's back, and I felt like I was putting my foot in the ocean.
Yes.
Right? And
well, when spoilers, when he touched me that one time
Yeah,
and
yes.
basically lifted me from being so scared.
he carried her. He picked her up and carried her in the Usra.
most
I
amazing
had
thing I've
no
ever
idea what was
seen.
going on. I don't know if I was like, am I safe?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what was
How much,
going on in
Makuga?
the
How
moment. happened.
How much of those moments do you remember, or is it just the goal is get in, get out?
Yeah, it's like a fight or flight kind of a situation. I mean, I feel like I picked up Serena. I picked up you, Chris.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
I tried to pick up Wendy and run her out of that clown one. That didn't work. Every time I tried to run past Frank, he'd be like, "No, you got to stay in front of the camera." I was like, "But I need to get out of here."
Yeah, we went through the high. It was like this, it was like an old the way that they set it up is like an abandoned freeway, and you're walking through, and all these scares are coming. Oh my God, it was amazing.
It really
Makuga,
was.
by the way, all this if this was the real world that happened, the post-apocalyptic thing, he'd be dead in 3 seconds.
Oh no, you. I'm sorry, Josh, but you would be bait.
No, he jumps. But what he would do is he would run away from one chainsaw person right into the other one.
Because that's literally what happened. That's in the video.
Yeah, it happens many times. But you were grabbing strangers off the street and holding them. Is that accurate?
Anybody that was in my path of arms, I needed their comfort and just grabbed them. That poor kid, I think he was like 18. I held on to him for dear life, and he didn't even react.
No.
He was just kind of like,
You know what it reminded me of?
Okay.
It reminded me, Josh, of the story I told when I picked up the kid and put him in the rack in college.
Yes, exactly.
He didn't.
100%.
He didn't move.
Exactly what happened.
He didn't move. He just stood there
did
and
not move.
smiled the whole time. Didn't know what was going on. I guess he saw a camera and he was okay.
You were using a lot of
Yeah.
people as a shield last night, including Mark Riley here,
Oh, yeah.
Katie
The
Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff one. But my favorite. So listen, my favorite moment of the night first was when he picked you up and carried you into the next room of us, and
Right.
then as
That's
we're
my
going-
favorite.
Well, it was.
When I discovered that he was drenched in
Yeah.
sweat.
Listen, I've known Katie for about 13 years, right? I have never seen her laugh as hard as she did when we were going through the maze, this weird maze, and all these tree people were coming after us, right?
All Hallows Eve.
it was the scare zone.
It was- yeah.
The witch scare zone
Yes.
was my favorite.
So,
Yes.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
one of these big crazy things comes after Makuga. Makuga grabs Katie, holds her, and they're just and this thing is coming after them, and he's just holding her in the corner, and she's out of breath. She's like she's scared, half laughing, but she's crying, laughing so hard she couldn't get it out, and Makuga's just screaming at the top of his lungs. It was.
But Josh, did you think that via hiding behind people, or at one point you kind of became Roger Rabbit because you sound like him, and you looked like a cartoon on a wall? Did you think that the monsters were just not going to see you and you turned invisible?
Yeah, what's the
or?
logic?
Well, I feel like when I jam myself against the wall and close my eyes and scream that they're just going to leave me alone, but then I reopen my eyes and they're still there.
Right.
And I
Like a
realized
6-year-old.
I'm I at one point, Katie Sackhoff's boyfriend's like, "You just ran in a circle." And it's a circle. Yeah, it's pretty close.
You did.
Well,
Well,
I black out so hard in fear that, when we were walking through, because there was those chainsaw people, then there was those weird zombies in that tunnel of death.
Yeah.
They just kept walking up to you.
You mean the
it never
toxic
stopped.
tunnel.
I was never not on my toes that entire time because there was people everywhere. And even at the end, when you guys accidentally got separated from us, there were these people walking around with chainsaws, and Jareena's like, "Where are they?" I was like, "I don't fucking care. Get me out of here."
You know what's so funny?
I'm done with this.
It's so funny about that is that when we got separated from you at the end, a bunch of us are the Universal. By the way, thank you to Lindsay and everybody over at Universal,
Sarah and Matt.
everybody over there, so great. But they were taking us out because they were going to walk us to the front to give us passes if we wanted to stay for the rest. And you and Darina and other people got separated.
Yeah.
And Lindsay goes, "Uh-oh," and I go, "What?" She goes, "They're walking right into another scare zone."
Yeah,
And
we did.
Yeah.
We walked right into it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Josh, though, I know,
Dude.
didn't like it.
Makuga, can I ask you?
After we left,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say would things have been different if Amanda had been there? Would you have used would you have thrown her in front of your body, or do you feel like it's different when you
yeah.
what? Oh, you would have. Okay.
well, I mean, she's sitting right here, and I'll be completely honest. Yeah, human shield, 100%.
I would have to save myself and him
yeah.
in any sort of situation.
It's true. Well,
Yeah.
Amanda, one thing I can tell you is I did see Makuga act brave one time last night.
That's
and,
true.
And that was that during the attack of the Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Sorry, Killer Clowns from Outer
Good
Space.
movie.
Great
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Wendy, who was, a warrior throughout everything that we went through, deathly afraid of clowns.
Definitely.
Really afraid of clowns, but brave, and said, because Makuga's doing it, I'm going to do it. She did not want to do it at all. And so
she got dragged into the maze.
She definitely did. We almost pushed her.
Yeah.
And then it was Makuga and Wendy, and Makuga started leading the way. And at one point he's screaming, "I got you, Wendy! Come on, Wendy! Just run, Wendy!" And it was like his character went through an arc.
Yes, yeah.
Those two were storming Normandy.
They really
at one
were.
point, and Wendy went down, and Josh was picking her
Yeah,
up.
he did.
Go, keep going! And I was like, "This is incredible."
It was like the kid that jumped on the barbed wire.
It really was. But the funniest part,
Ghostbusters.
funniest part about all of it is that at the very end, poor Wendy, right? She gets out of the maze, she goes down on one knee, and she's just breaking down because she hates clowns. And Roxy, who has no clue what's going on, has the little camera.
GoPro,
And
yeah.
she walks up with the GoPro to Wendy, goes, "Wendy! Woo!" And Wendy's like in a mental breakdown. It was like... it was...
As we would say, Christian, read the room.
Roxy did not do it. And Roxy also doesn't mind me talking about this too. One of the funniest things of the night. I'm walking with Makuga because I was trying to, as much as I knew before when you put him in the maze, there's nothing you can do.
No.
He's just going to be scared. But I was walking with him and talking with him throughout the majority of the night. And he and I were walking as we're getting ready to go to Stranger Things. And what's the name of the ice cream that they do?
Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops
Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy.
They have a Scoops Ahoy ready.
Yeah.
So Roxy breaks off and goes, "Oh, Scoops Ahoy!" And she
Yeah.
does this run that I've never seen a human do, right? And
Yeah, she found it immediately.
And Makuga goes, "Roxy looks like her feet are cemented to the floor, right?" And I said,
She's running.
Yeah, but she's running. And when she comes over, and I said, "That was some run." She goes, "Oh yeah, I run like Phoebe." And I go, "My God, you do."
Oh, that's a good point.
She runs.
I didn't know she said that. I was just going to say she runs like Phoebe.
so
That's
funny.
That's
she
really
knows.
funny.
She knows.
She was the one that told me.
Yeah,
She goes, "I run like." She's like, "I've said it on the show before. I run like Phoebe." And I said, "Yes, you do." It was amazing. But anyway, Josh, overall, we're going to see all this stuff next week. You'll be back in studio.
And Josh, I do have one last question. Did you have any fun last night?
I think that's like a relative term.
It was good. So, what was out of the ones that we went to though? What was the absolute scariest one that you could have done without?
Well, I think like relative-wise, the scariest one was by far the Us one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And that
agree.
one's scary. I mean, we saw
Yeah, it was.
But the longest one and the one that had like the most consistent scare after scare after scare, was the Stranger Things one.
Which was funny. 'cause
Wow.
Well, that's the
And
one
then-
you had to crawl a little bit
we-
there
well, we
because
were-
you fell.
Yeah, right. It's true. Well, we were walking up to that one. He's like, "This one won't be that bad. This is one of the ones I crossed off, thinking this one's going to be okay." And then he was like, "I was wrong."
Yeah.
He goes, "It was so long because they take you through all 3 seasons."
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm very proud of you, and I'm very happy that you did this with us.
Yes.
I had the time of my life
It was
last
really,
night.
It was really good. And again, thank you to Katie Sackhoff and Robin and everybody who came with us there last night. You'll be able to see all this stuff. We're hoping Frank the Pumpkin King himself, who crushed it last night filming, as he does. He's a magic man, so hopefully it's done by Monday or Tuesday. That's the goal.
We're next in like a weekish.
In a week?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
You got other stuff going on.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
give or take sometime next week. It'll be there. So
We can clip out probably.
Yeah,
a
we'll
couple
get some
things.
stuff.
Exactly.
So, Josh, thank you. Have a good, safe trip. Thank you, Amanda.
Are you guys
we'll
going
see
to a
you.
wedding? That's why I had to push you, Josh. I can't go to that many weddings.
Yeah, sort of. No, not another wedding. My brother's 40th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
That's
better.
worth it. Okay.
right.
All right. Well, have a good time, guys. And Josh, we'll see
Bye.
you on Monday.
Ah.
Everybody was doing impressions of
So
Makuga's yell and scream last night. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. There was some stuff. I don't know if it's still in the story, but Wendy was posting a shit ton of Instagram stories, and there's definitely a video. One of the videos of him, he's walking through and he has that contraption on his head, and there's a chainsaw person that comes after him, and you have to really pay attention to it because he grabs this woman. I think you got to go to the Collider.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
It's the story. It's
Oh, okay.
So if you
Go back to that one, yeah.
So we just left the Us Maze.
I'm only here for moral support right now.
Yeah, it was real intense.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm like real busy right now.
What? You should really watch the story because it's great.
It's too much.
Let's
I
see.
think I signed on for something completely different.
You got it, champion. You got it.
That was like, I don't know how long that was, but it was the longest 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 8 minutes, 2 years of my life. Gray hair is just sprouting out everywhere. I don't know. Stay tuned.
So right at that time, by the way, somebody did get the jacket off of Makuga, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That we have him inside it. Oh, this is it. Watch,
This is
watch the
it.
woman on the left. Watch the woman on the left. Makuga just grabs some poor lady on the street. And is this a kid? Oh, yeah, this is where he grabs the kid. Yeah.
He's still being. It's him and Katie being chased.
Yeah, no, he
by
runs
the-
off and he grabs his kid. Watch. He goes. Yeah, he doesn't know where to go, and he grabs his kid. Look, some kid just grabs his kid. Look at this kid. This kid has no idea what's going on.
Human Shield.
He just grabs his kid.
Yeah,
and he's
Operation Human Shield here for
this,
Josh.
This is the kid that won the
Tempest Scout.
Yeah, he got the jacket from
Jacket,
Makuga.
yeah.
So that was Makuga before Stranger Things, and this is him afterwards. Scared out of his gourd. And that was him. That was him coming out of the trees, the tree people. The witch people.
Out of the
Yeah,
witch
he
people.
collapsed.
And then somebody actually, while he was on the ground, ended up scaring him
Yes.
too. I felt
Yeah.
so bad for
Yeah.
him.
It's so interesting because his biggest fear is something that we're all like, come on, you could. It's like it's
Right.
make
It's
believe.
fun.
But like if somebody was like, we're gonna go drown. Like my biggest fear is drowning.
Drowning.
If somebody's like, tonight we're gonna go nearly drown, I'd be
Yeah.
like, go.
Right.
He's such a good sport.
Well,
is what I'm saying.
so is Wendy, because Wendy.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
Wendy
I didn't
went-
know
Sounds like
Wendy
she's a
was terrified of
legitimate-
clowns.
It
Wendy
sounds
was-
like
I
it's
mean-
like based in something.
Wendy was, terrified of
Yeah.
clowns. Like
Me going in a
She
Catholic
literally
church.
had a mental breakdown while
she-
Roxy was trying to videotape her.
She
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
did. Like after, when we were going through the mazes in general, she was. I mean, she was just directing.
She was
Frank.
working, yeah.
She was moving, and nothing phased her. But man,
The clowns.
oh shit, the clowns
She
got
just
her.
turned into a different person.
Oh, yeah,
It
it
was
was crazy.
fascinating.
Yeah,
You
it was
don't
crazy.
send
But
in the
you know,
clowns with her.
yeah,
No.
But you know what?
No.
They did have a snake one year, and I didn't have a mental breakdown, but I was not okay.
You were not okay with
No,
it.
so I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
anyway,
He's
it
a
was
good sport.
I think
is my
heights. No, I don't give a shit about heights. I don't know what the fuck's.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
what would you?
Yeah, for scary mazes, I don't think any.
Interruption. Scares
What about
me.
like, are you scared of playing? Like, interruption. Are you scared of that, Christian? Then you should stop being friends with me.
No shit.
or all of us.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm terrified right now. Okay, listen.
And
so
another thing.
Big things
All
that
right.
happened yesterday.
All right.
What was it? Yesterday or today? Did
Today.
It dropped today. So
Today.
look, one of the big things we hear yesterday was Feige taking the role of Star Wars. That's going to be the biggest news of the week. Nope. And I don't know if maybe it's because Sony wanted to say, hey, look, he's still doing stuff with us too, because Sony and Marvel, they have come to an agreement. Everybody thought it was going to be dead in the water, that it was just going to be now Venom and Spidey, and sad Tom Holland was going to be a thing. Well, not the case. Tom Holland posted the Wolf of Wall Street clip to where he goes, I'm not going anywhere. It's one of my favorite clips. And he's like, I'm staying, and people losing their minds, and the show must go on. The show does go on. It is going to happen. Spidey will continue in the MCU. Riley, give me the breakdown here. What are some of the overall deals here? It's because it's not just Sony and Disney making a deal about Spider-Man. There's other shit involved.
Yeah, Sony and their PlayStation Vue platform have continued their deal, which is the cable network I use, or not network, but the platform I use. So we're getting more ESPN and all the ESPN Plus, all the FX, everything
FX?
under the FX. Ooh. Everything under the Disney banner is going to be available on the Sony PlayStation. So if you look at that deal, right, you go, okay, well, they're playing nice, getting it all out to people. This also happens. So we're getting one more Spider-Man movie in the MCU, so the third Spider-Man. And he will appear in another MCU movie. We don't know what that one is.
Right, they're gonna choose that.
So two.
Yeah, right.
And the third Spider-Man from the Homecoming trilogy, that movie's coming on 2021. Is that what it was?
July 16th, 2021. It's been dated. They have been working on it. I mean, it was interesting.
Did they start principal on it?
No, they've been writing it now. They brought in the same writers from Part 2, Far From Home. But this was before they kissed and made up. Right. They were like, okay, so how are they doing this without the MCU?
I'll tell you, man, they had to, from the way that they set that movie up at the end.
Yeah, right?
You
I know, you have to.
You had to. I mean, you could have come up with another story, of course, but just the way that they set that thing up, they had to find a way, because it's just...
It would be a bummer, man.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil what happens, but they leave this huge cliffhanger at the end. You're like, oh shit, what's going to go down now? They figured it all out, and we're telling another story now. That would have been a big bummer. But the big question is, what happens with the speculation with Venom now? Does that just go away? Does he not show up in Venom? Does he do that? Because he could still do movies with him, but do they want to do?
The specifics aren't out really yet on this deal, because remember they broke up because it was they wanted 50-50, or then we heard they more 30 whatever. Right. So if we can assume that they came to a deal, I wonder if that deal also includes, hey, we're going to put him in Venom. Too.
Right.
You know, they can't. And what does it mean for the two? Do we wrap up the MCU storyline that's Far From Home, right? He shows up in an MCU movie, and then Tom Holland continues, and he shows up in Venom, and he shows up in Morbius, and he shows up in the Madam Web with the other thing that
you think
just
that's
broke.
Still go down, that Madam Web thing now?
Why not?
I think absolutely.
Yeah.
Morbius is filming right now.
Yeah. Right.
Venom 2 is filming or getting
so
ready.
They're going to build it out more.
They're building their Spider-Man universe, and maybe it won't happen for a while. This Madam Web story that Snyder broke actually is great. I don't know a lot about it, but maybe it'll go. There's a lot that they're working on in the Spider-Man universe, and Venom and Morbius are just the ones that made it to the finish line first.
Kate, did you know about any of this?
Yeah, because I was here. We talked about it the last time. Yeah, and I sort of feel like it reminds me of Michael Jordan going out of the Chicago girl, but Michael Jordan went out of retirement. And then he played baseball, or what? Like he got retired, then he played baseball, then he came back from retirement. I sort of feel like, what are the odds we're going to do the inverse of this story again next week? Where they're like, no, just kidding, they didn't actually come up with a deal because it was just like a week and a half ago.
Well,
but you guys aren't super surprised by this, right?
No,
I mean,
I'm
eventually,
not.
I'm surprised they came to an
final.
agreement so fast. But
I
knew it was going to happen.
I think
at some
a
point.
lot of this Star Wars stuff too. Probably, you know, it all. I'm telling you, I bet you it all combines. It's not a coincidence that news comes out yesterday and this comes out today.
Right.
All right.
Well, I'm wondering this.
Yeah.
This deal that you pointed out to me, the PlayStation View deal.
Yeah.
They want that is a lot of stuff. FX, ESPN, all these things on that platform. Could it be that Sony's like, oh shit, we do need to play nice with Disney, and it was more of that than it is maybe the Star Wars stuff.
No, but I think that it all combines. I think it all has a lot to do. And I again, this deal has been done for a little bit, the same way that the Feige did. Sony knew about what was going on with Feige also. Maybe that's why they said the thing about him being too busy or whatever it might be. But clearly the busy thing was a stupid thing to say because it's like, you know, that's when Sony should have kept quiet for a little bit. And this worked out on the deal. And I don't know, maybe it's also because one of those things, I don't know. Maybe they listen because if you look at the majority of people, it looked like most people, there were a lot of people who were not favoring Disney. That's absolutely true. But most people were saying, come on, Sony, just make this thing happen.
Which I still don't understand because Disney was asking for so much money. But that's just me.
We don't know the specifics of everything. We know a lot of it, and we all said the same thing. If they're asking for that much and Sony was willing to bend, then what's... And maybe maybe you're right, though. Maybe we need to find out whether we will or not what the specifics are of the deal. I think that we might.
Yeah, it might start coming out.
It might start saying what it is, and we hope that it's fair publicly. You know that not that any of us are going to fucking benefit from it, but if we look at it and we say, okay, you know what, they all played nice, and it's not a bully situation. They all played nice because what we don't want to see is that Sony just said, all right, the fans are yelling on us. Disney is kind of the king shit right now. If we don't do this, we're going to be in trouble. Fucking just sign the deal. As opposed to, let's sit down, let's talk again, let's see what we can come up with.
Just renegotiation.
Right, and everybody said, okay, look, all right,
sense.
you know, you're right, let's figure this out. 2 more movies. Because Riley said before this thing started, he goes, well, wait a minute, that's for now. But in 2 years from now, is this going to happen again?
Yeah, get your hashtags ready.
What do you think?
Which one happened?
No, and in 2 years from now, do you think that this is going to happen all over again? Because that's when the deal ends.
Right.
So whatever it is, whatever the 2 more movies.
That's the thing about these movies, right? Like how many negotiations have these people been through ever since all the drama started, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm sure something else is going to happen at some point because if you're, I'm excited now that we're getting a third Spider-Man movie because as much as Far From Home I thought was fine, I love the first one so much, and I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and so I think that it benefits both companies to keep these characters, actually hanging out with everybody else, right? I think I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Hardy and Tom Holland, even if he shows up as like a little cameo in a Venom movie, like that's not going to piss anyone off. Like whatever you think of the first movie, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And of course seeing him back with all the MCU characters, so it benefits both companies. I could see them maybe renegotiating later on if they want to do another type of endgame, but I don't think that's going to happen for a long time.
It's also the trick though of that. I mean, you know that they have a plan, but what movie does he show up in out of the? If it's only one MCU movie because he did like 3 or 4 for his last deal, right?
Right. Yeah. And so could that be another Avengers like later on down the line when they finally build, or is it like what do we know? We have
without
Black
a spoiler,
Panther 2.
Without a spoiler, the stuff that happens at the very end, the last post credit seen, right? Considering a character that he's interacted with, does that happen? He's again, I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen the movie, but there are things that could happen. Because they're going intergalactic also. They're going very, very much into the intergalactic in this new phase of the MCU. So
I just want to, I mean, this thing has to end sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at it now.
What do you mean, the MCU?
Realistically, not the MCU. Spider-Man, Sony, Disney.
Right.
But what do you mean by end? That they're not
their partnership is going to end sooner or later. Whether
so you
it's
think this is it?
But that's my question. I don't know. I mean, what movies can they show up in? If it's another, like, let's say the third Spider-Man movie makes $1 billion, which likely it will.
Probably.
So they go, okay, this is working. Still working. Then the MCU movie that he's going to appear in happens, and that thing makes $1 billion, and whatever it is, I have no idea. Do they go, okay, let's do a couple more? I mean, but
I think there's two sides. I think the first side is what we just said before, because of where they arced that last movie.
Yeah.
That they, all right, let's figure this thing out for at least, maybe they sit down and they go, all right, look, let's get this deal done. We got to finish this story. We'll benefit from it. Give them MCU. We'll do this thing with the PlayStation, and then we'll just move on because we'll wrap up that story, and then we won't be beholden to the MCU storyline anymore. Or it's we have such a great deal now with PlayStation. Everything's going really well. Our partnership's back. We're not yelling at each other at the dinner table anymore.
Yeah.
Let's make some more of these things. So it can go either way.
It could. Yeah, it could. And I just wonder, I mean, Disney is in the business of buying conglomerates.
Right.
Could they sooner or later buy Spider-Man back? Could that be one of the ways to do it? Could they be amicable and work together for 10 years?
Sony's not going to sell that.
Exactly.
If I get to be just a nerd here, my preference is I don't care what happens as long as I get to see Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Yeah, see, that would be
all I care about personally. So.
I wonder, maybe that's the MCU movie they're talking about.
Corporations don't have any legal obligation to publicize deal terms, do they? So we may never know. It might have been that somebody at Disney got to sleep with the president of Sony's wife for all we know,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, but it could be reporters though too that usually find this shit out and leak the deal memos. So, and a lot of times,
don't you feel like that would have already accompanied
what's
this?
that?
With the news, like
maybe, but it's people now that it's done. See, normally what happens when a deal hasn't done, what happened last time is that you start to see leaks of the proposed deal because both sides want it to come out of what the other side was asking.
Right.
We haven't heard shit yet because there's a deal.
Fine.
There's already a deal. So now it's going to be the reporters who are investigating. Well, what are the basics of the deal? And then
what's the deal with the deal?
I mean, what's the deal with the deal? Is he here? Is he there? I mean, what's he figuring out? And where's J. Jonah Jameson? I mean, come on.
Is he a spider? Is he a pig?
What's the deal?
What are you guys?
What film noir?
So again, being nerds, what are you guys excited about this? Like the most?
The continuation of the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
That cliffhanger for me is so awesome, and I feel like it really works well for a certain villain in Spidey's universe that could really work out, and that gets me excited.
Yeah, it just sets. It's like watching a television show, and then it's like, okay, we got 3 seasons. And then the final season is going to explain it all. Oh, we're not doing the final season.
Right.
What?
That's happened
The fuck are you talking about? It's happened many times before.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to bring Doc Ock?
I would love that. I want Craven.
Oh, that would be cool.
I want
too.
Craven the Hunter. That's who I was referencing. I think it's perfect.
Yeah,
I think it's perfect the way they set up the story.
He's already been rumored to be in this thing for, like the last.
He was rumored to for his own spin-off movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and reports came out at one point that Gyllenhaal was going to be Craven.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
Stark
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Craven mad.
Craven.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, Craven.
Everybody, we got Spider-Man back in the MCU.
It's really good. It's funny.
That's so good.
That's kind of what Makuga sounds like screaming. It's like
true.
It's the Mad Hatter and Roger Rabbit.
Oh my
combined.
goodness, Dorina, save me!
That was so funny.
Run,
Like,
Wendy, run!
Katie was doing her impression of Makuga.
Oh, yeah.
She was running, and the people's faces were the best. Though,
Yeah,
that were
there
looking
were
at
tons
us.
of them out there too.
I know.
Hey, why didn't you go?
Yeah, why didn't? Because Cody didn't.
I
go
don't
either.
why
think.
didn't
I don't think we
anyone-
invited
Yeah.
her.
Oh,
So-
well, that's on you guys.
Is it?
I
Yeah,
hooked
yeah.
up the connection, and Riley sent the list, so blame Riley.
Yeah, it's right.
So, real quick question:
Fuck you
why
all.
don't you guys like me?
I know. What a
Kate, we love
producer!
you. Are you kidding me?
Let's
the
not
best.
invite one of the co-hosts.
I
Fuck
want.
off, mommy.
I wish we could bring all the Office. The
I know.
Whole Office.
Yeah.
Damn it. I know. It's so fun. We'll do another one
Relax,
at some point.
cool hat.
You guys, I was super busy last night being in a huge fight with my husband
yeah?
anyway.
Uh-oh.
So,
Nice.
sorry
Things better
guys,
now?
couldn't make it.
Did you win?
It was a fucking
Brawl.
maze of problems in our house.
Okay, Kate.
That was a
Kate,
scary maze.
I'd like you. How do you feel? Let's unpack that.
Yeah,
Here we go.
now. So
Here's the
how
therapy.
do
Can
you-
Cody play the music?
Can we
Yeah.
get the explosions in the sky thing?
Okay, go ahead.
there?
feel like you were
I
not
just
listened
feel
to?
like it's the sort of thing like if you did something bad a bunch of years ago
Right.
and you've tried to make amends for it, that it still keeps coming back.
Oh, I see.
And you're
So-
doing good behavior now.
Yes, yes.
What's the
Expand
point of
on
doing
that.
good behavior now if you're still going to get fucking punished for it?
I understand.
I don't understand. I just
Also,
want to drink my tea.
To be clear, it sounds like I cheated on my husband. I did not. Like, to be
She
clear,
just blew a guy. That's it.
Wow.
I did not have sexual relations.
Holly Hunter's back.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's true. All right.
Oh, yeah, last week you missed Holly Hunter came on the show.
I'm so upset about that.
Also, people are very confused. They think if you're not here and I am here, that they've just swapped out the vaginas permanently.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
I mean, they're confused. They don't know which one's which.
There was a guy. There was a guy in the comment section. This is clearly Christian's agenda. Has been friends with
Yes.
Kate for a long time, and he wanted to push Dorina out.
Yeah, no.
No, and I brought Dorina
Christian and I hate each other in real life.
Sorry about that tweet, man.
Actually,
We both trying to kick each other out the show.
Stupid people. This is how rumors get started.
but
It's
also,
true.
like, no one would ever say, like, if Christian wasn't there and Mark was, they wouldn't be like,
No.
oh, Riley's replacing Christian. Like,
no,
one
because
would ever
there's like
speculate.
there's a one vagina and there's a third vagina
Yes.
and there's too many
Vagina?
vaginas and I
Yeah.
can't keep it straight.
That's right.
It's very stressful
Oh,
for
making
our
me
audience.
This vagina talk is making me nervous. I'm gonna have to replace everybody on the show now. Everybody, and it's all penis.
and they're so
all
strange
penis, no
looking
vagina.
too. I still don't understand
And there's
them.
like there's that, and I get it because I don't know what's in there either, man.
my goodness.
I get it.
You know what? Just dogs. I'm putting dogs on the
Yeah.
show. That's all. Just
It
dogs.
looks like the cotton candy that the killer clowns have.
But it tastes different.
Usually is. That's true. What did I do with this paper? It's a disaster. Okay.
You have a rippy problem.
You know what I'm
You
gonna
have a
do
rippy
from now
tear.
on? Not print out
No, you probably
that
should.
for you.
I haven't
No.
read not a thing on this.
You don't need to. You don't need to look
We
at
need
it.
to
I'll
get
just,
you a
I'll
fidget
cue
spinner
you
Yeah,
or a
maybe.
stress ball
Maybe
or
so.
or drugs.
drugs.
Stress Ball and Drugs, the name of my next book, coming out on Amazon 2027.
I like it.
When the Sony deal expires.
Or you could change it to my balls are stressed, and that's why
My
I do
balls
drugs.
are stressed. No, it's true.
We keep going to balls.
All right, listen, we're going to turn these phone lines on. Is there any other news that we should talk about?
Yeah. So
Oh,
the Irishman,
that's good.
the reactions, first reactions are out.
What, and
Yeah.
Here is IndieWire's headline.
Let's hear it.
The Irishman first reactions praise Martin Scorsese's instant classic
Wow.
and masterpiece.
Holy piss rocket.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah, man.
Look at that.
Did you see Chris D'Elia's post yesterday? Oh my god.
What
did
did
he
he
say?
say?
He does the funny. He's like, I was up for the part with Robert De Niro too, and then like there's a clip of Robert De Niro, and then Chris D'Elia does the. It's just anyway.
No, good sell.
Good sell. I think it's one of those things where Chris D'Elia is super funny, so me talking about it,
It was good.
doesn't.
It was a good
Yeah.
pitch.
Anyway. Oi.
So look,
It's like
Go
Austin
to his
Powers
Instagram.
turning around.
Here's
and,
the movie. It's
Yeah,
going to be
exactly.
great, guys. So there's a couple rabbits. They walk down the street, and then afterwards, does anybody have coffee?
Yeah.
What's
Wait, no,
this?
here.
All
The
right.
pitch is
Yes.
here.
Here.
Right. What do you want to know? You want to know if I did it or not? What do you want to know? You want to know if I did it or not? Right? Right.
He's like, spoiler, I was up for the same.
Oh.
He does it. It's just. Robert De Niro is now, I feel like, doing an impression of himself.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good
it's
though.
just.
What do you want to know? You want to know if I did it or not?
That's good. But so people are saying that this movie, Irishman, is a class. Well, IndieWire did.
Yeah, so
good.
here we go. Slash Film
Yeah. What do they say?
adds The Irishman is a masterwork, funny,
Wow.
epic, and most of all, melancholy.
Look
It's
at this.
Scorsese confronting aging, legacies, and mortality. I may or may not have teared up at the end.
Damn.
The Irishman, no, let's go to another
Irishman.
one. The Irishman.
Irishman, like Spider-Man.
Eric Cohn, The Irishman's like a
Cohn.
greatest. Eric Cohn is like a greatest hits album from the master of the medium.
Wow.
Yes, that's a positive. The artifice of de-aging is more featured than bugged.
Great.
David Ehrlich, The Irishman is good. Takes 90 minutes to lock in and clear out the cobwebs. I'm just kind of going through the greatest hits of these.
Ehrlich is my favorite film critic.
Let's see. Brett Redacted says an instant Martin Scorsese crime classic. That's everything you want it to be and more. It's De Niro's best work in ages. Pesci lights up the screen, and Al Pacino as Hoffa screaming about the Kennedys is the peak of cinema. It's the Kennedys! I'm in!
Excited. I'm excited to see Al Pacino.
Al Pacino Oscar?
Awesome.
Wow.
Question mark?
Wow.
I like it.
Irishman is not Goodfellas or Casino Part 3. It's a different pace, different tones from Jordan Hoffman. It is, however, absolutely fucking fantastic, and I'm floored. All hail the king.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, man. This is good stuff.
I can't wait.
That's
good
so
stuff.
exciting.
Yeah, and this is very, very exciting.
I can't wait for the soundtrack because he always does good
Great
soundtracks.
soundtracks, yeah.
Hopefully it's just
when is
these
this?
songs.
Is this next week? This movie come or is October? When does this movie come out?
Well, next week is October. Woo!
Oh, that's right. Release date is... We're finding that out in a second. It comes out... Oh, good. 2019.
November 27th.
What? Really?
Fuck.
Oh, well, theatrical
Theatrical's
release is November 1st, and then digital streaming on
What
Netflix
comes
is
out in
27th.
October? Something comes out in October, like right around... What was it that because McCook and I were talking about it, and it's like it comes out in just a couple of weeks. What the hell were we talking about the other day? Something like else on Netflix.
I don't know.
We thought it was...
On Netflix?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell it was, but I guess that sucks balls. It's coming out in November. Oh well. Okay,
That sucks balls. It's coming out in November.
November's gonna be crazy though, man. A lot of good stuff coming out in November for sure.
By the way, I have to say really quick, out of the movies that I saw in Fantastic Fest, there's no bad movie that I saw, but one of the ones that I think everyone should see is Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, yeah. You did see it?
Yes, I loved it so much.
I can't wait
I
for that
cried.
movie.
It was
wow.
a whole thing. It's really good.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so I highly recommend. It's kind of like if you go into it knowing it's like kind of like a family movie.
Yeah, you're allowed to review it, so give me the review.
Yeah, I did a social media reaction, and it's like Taika did a family movie about war, right? And so you're seeing this Nazi camp for youth, right? And they're raising kids to be Nazis. It's like, and this little kid is basically learning to hate and fear, and they do it in a way that you're watching war happen through the eyes of a child,
right?
And I think that's difficult to pull off. And it's kind of like a fantastical movie. I don't think Taika even wanted to do it, historically accurate, but the whole point of how we're raised to look at people in a different way and fear them, I think he nailed it. It was a beautiful movie.
And it's got humor in it, and
it's super funny too. So
I wouldn't think there can be humor in that. Like
no.
The script.
Oh no,
that's
they
awesome.
went.
That's
his point.
They went
Yeah.
to some comedic. I mean, if you see Hunt for the Wilder People or his other movies, it's that type of humor that you're just like, I can't believe they made that
favorite
joke.
movie of the year?
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably up there with Tigers Are Not Afraid.
Yeah.
What else did I saw that I loved? But I'm blanking right now. But please go see it.
Still too. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were already looking forward to it. We've talked about it on this show many times.
Mm-hmm.
What about the controversy as far as the whole Hitler thing? How they handle that?
I don't know why there was. I mean, I think that's part of those controversies that come out on the internet because people haven't seen the movie and they're just like, oh, it's like a parody. I'm like, it's not at all.
It's like, well, Hitler's in it.
Well, yeah, but that's
what's this, an Austin Powers movie making Hitler look good?
No. Yeah. There's a whole point as to why Hitler's there.
Yeah,
and played especially by Taika because he's just dealing with this. It's just him and the kid talking about it.
It looks like an imaginary friend.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it,
but that's the synopsis. When it was originally released that this is what Taika was going to do, it was Hitler was an imaginary friend.
Right.
Yeah, the whole point is that the kid is picturing Hitler because he thinks Hitler is somebody to look up to.
Right.
That's how he's being raised.
Right.
But that's
and
so perfect for how kids learn things. Like that's the way. Even if it was about a president. Like I remember thinking like growing up like Ronald Reagan. I was like, oh, Ronald Reagan's our friend. Like I just knew president. I knew what I was being told. Like,
we're supposed to like him.
Yeah, we're supposed to like him. So like that does. I mean that's so people just can't not be mad about something.
I believe end of October.
Okay, we're gonna find that out pretty October 18th.
October 18th. Yeah.
Perfect.
And so, and I have a contact with the PR person, so we could bring the kids in and interview. Like,
Great.
it's, yeah.
We'll get Taika back in here. We've had Taika before.
Well, they might be doing a press junket for that, but
either
we'll
way.
see.
Well, I mean, like I said, Taika's been in here before, so we can hopefully get him in here.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for that. You got something else?
Yeah, just an update. Thank you to all you guys on Twitter. 25% of the stake Disney is getting.
Oh,
they're getting
there we go.
25
Got the
for
deal.
Spider-Man. Sorry.
All right, so they wanted 50, they got 25.
They're getting 25%.
That makes sense.
And
Great deal.
late last night, Alan Horn, Alan Bergman, Tom Rothman, and Kevin Feige all signed the deal together.
So they've been talking about it for a while, and they made the deal happen last night. Look at that. So Kevin Feige has been very busy this week, no doubt. But this goes back into the conversation.
Very, very rich too.
No shit.
Yeah.
Goes back to the conversation that we had yesterday, though. Like, how? Like, does anybody know? Because I don't know if we brought it up on this show yesterday. Is he married? Does he have
Kevin
children?
Feige,
like,
yeah.
what's his deal? Because like, how?
What's the
let me
deal
text
with
him
Kevin?
real quick and see.
Well, I asked that not to try to get into the man's
No, no,
personal
no.
life. I ask it because it's a matter of Star Wars.
Feige.
You're like, how does he do all
How's he
this?
doing?
Does he have other?
He's like The Rock now.
God, he's young too, 46.
He's 46, man. Yeah, the films he's produced have combined worldwide box office gross of $26.8 billion.
Children won.
Holy shit, one child. Okay, and he is married. So, yeah, man, it's I don't know how he does it, but he's going to continue to do it. He's got more stuff, and it just goes back to figure out now: is he going to be overrunning all this stuff with Marvel and just doing that one Star Wars film? There's so much that we're going to figure out over this next year. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else that's coming up in the news or cycle?
I mean, I'll pass through some of this news. Jason Bateman is going to direct a remake of Clue with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. They're working on it together. They're actually writing it together.
Do you love this kid?
Oh, this is the best news.
Do you like that? I mean, Clue
don't touch a classic. This is my first
It's
thought.
always there, right?
Yes.
But this kind of excites me.
You could
because,
redo that movie.
Yeah.
As long as you make it, there are good remakes as you make it. If you make it different, because
There's,
the
like,
Tim
Princess
Curry
Bride.
one
The Tim Curry, it's flawless.
It's perfect.
Princess Bride, you can't touch.
Flames shooting from the side.
That-
Flames.
Yeah.
Right?
But there's a
Madeline
difference
Kahn.
though with like Princess Bride in this, right? Now Princess Bride you can try to do.
Yeah.
Right? And you can and there's just I think the magic was very hard to duplicate. The comedic timing in Clue is absolutely amazing. Also, the difference is that it's not an acquired taste because people who watch it really enjoy it, but it wasn't like a massive hit.
I would say it's
it's
an acquired taste.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
It's
It's like a Rocky. It's
But
like other Tim Curry movies,
yeah,
like
it's a
Rocky
cult
Horror.
classic. Like there's not a lot of like I think. And I'm not talking about film buffs. I'm not talking about people who know a lot about film. Of course, you discover Clue and you love it, right? Younger generation. But most people don't go back to go find Clue.
No.
So by
Only
doing it
weirdos like me and Kate.
well, but if you go back and you'll find. But you guys, you
I
grew
love
up with Clue, and but I mean, like, so if someone who's watching this is 17 years old, and not necessarily, like I said, not a big film fan will go back and watch everything. Someone who's a casual moviegoer or just like likes the bigger. Releases. I'm not going to go and go find Clue, but Ryan Reynolds is going to be in it. Oh, that's interesting. Jason Bateman's going to be in it. Oh, really? Okay, he's directing.
He just won an Emmy for directing, which is
dude. His movie, my
good
favorite,
reaction. That was funny.
My favorite movie that he's ever directed was the Spelling Bee one. What's it? Bad Words? Is that what it's called?
Swear words?
No, Bad Words or the one.
Yeah, that was. I love that movie.
I mean, there's other.
Just put Spelling Bee movie. I forget. It was my favorite one.
There's other successful remakes that or not successful, but that I really like. Like if you look at, I think I mentioned this before.
Bad
The Fright
Words.
Night
Bad Words,
remake is super different than the original,
And
right?
it's great.
So and they're both great, and I like them both as for what they are. So they could do that.
It could work.
Yeah.
I also feel like what's the point of making a remake? If it's just a cash grab, then it's probably not going to be good. But if it's about like let's either set it in a different time period, let's make let's modernize it. What's
Yes, you got to have the good story
let's
to it because
add technology into
you can modify it, or you don't have to modify it. You can go back in time and do it the same way. But the one thing everybody should always know: every movie is a cash grab. Every movie is.
Yes,
but if it's just focused on just being a cash grab, doing it just to get the money, like, oh yeah, people buy tickets for it. Who gives a shit?
Then you get Thor: Dark World.
If there's layers to it, there's a reason for it. There's a new cast that really is involved in it. And when there's a cast, like I think people, even though I liked it, there's a lot of people that I would understand the argument to say that the Lion King movie was a cash grab. I understand that.
Yes.
I understand it. I like the movie. I enjoyed for what it was. The Favreau did a great job, but I completely understand where people say there's nothing because there really is nothing new with that movie.
No.
There really isn't.
I don't need to see that movie ever again.
No, exactly. Because
They even had the same person play Mufasa.
yeah, and I think again, I watch things through my kids' eyes now when I go to the movies like that. I took Vivian with me, and she loved it because she got a chance to see real animals doing this stuff, and she's not putting together. Well, it's the same thing, and I've seen it before. That's not the way she thinks. But you You can call that movie a cash grab.
Oh, I love you, Cody.
Yeah, I would like to see Cody's. I hope that Cody was actually playing his face. He was showing his face while he was doing it because he's just like you can see him like pushing.
Man. I always love going back and seeing when Cody cuts to himself during the show.
It's so much fun.
We think we're doing something funny in here, and it turns out that it's just
he
Cody being
He's doing it
hilarious.
because he's better than us.
Because he takes shots and he says maybe they won't watch this episode back.
Yeah.
I watch everyone back. I've seen everything.
Or Cody's MVP and he does not give any.
I think that's probably part of it
That's
too,
exactly
especially now
Really?
his dad.
Cody,
There we go.
you thought you were running the ship on this show there, Christian?
No.
It's Cody who's actually steering the boat.
100%. If Cody wanted to, he could steer it right into the iceberg.
Cody got invited to the maze. You know what I mean? That's how
sure
we know.
The last second.
The last second. That's true. Well, that's on Dorina and Riley. All right, let's put. It's not on me. Put on the phone lines, please. What do you got? Breaking
Real
news.
quick, guys, we got some breaking news.
Yeah.
We got a new image released. Alex is pulling it up right now. Give it a second. Give
That
some time.
Anchorman
here.
breaking news music.
Wait for it. And look, my baby is wearing skinny jeans and shoes for the first time.
Shut up. And Converse.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's really awesome.
my goodness.
That's breaking news.
God.
It is.
Look, those shoes.
So
shoes
Cody,
are so cute.
So this is where you and I again we bond more so than you even know. You had nothing to do with this outfit.
No. It was just
Yeah, it's the same thing. I always like my kids are dressed like to the nine. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they look great. I'm like, if it was me, you'd be wearing Star Wars shirts for the rest of your life.
What would your kid be wearing, Cody?
Pokemon.
Yeah, a bunch of onesies for every one of the 151
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Did you buy him any Pokemon stuff?
We don't have a single Pokemon outfit for him.
Shot down, or
it just never happened.
Cody, I've got hand-me-downs for you.
Well, Cody,
Pokemon
Cody,
hand-me-downs.
I got a little bit of advice for you, pal, because there's no way your wife wants to put him in a Pokemon thing, right?
She's a fan too.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
Okay, then you're all
she'll
right.
allow it.
All right, then you're good.
Cody's
All right.
like, I wouldn't have married her if she
That's
wasn't
true.
a Pokemon
Well,
fan.
My wife was hot, so I couldn't worry. I have to worry about the Star Wars thing. I let it go.
Sadie, just so you know, Christian married you because you're hot.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all. No, she knows.
So you don't need to have any personality.
That's it. No,
Actually, I think people are hot
False.
because of their personality, but that's just me.
No, my wife is a again, you know her.
I
She's
do.
not gonna give.
She's the catch of the world.
Yeah, she really is. I can't.
Just get her out of my face.
Can't give her shit.
Memories. I love it.
What happened?
Everybody's always flaunting their hot people in
No,
front of me.
yeah.
I got it,
No,
Riley.
my screensaver goes on and
What?
it's pictures. And,
Was it porn?
No, she thinks
No, it's
my
his-
fiance's
asshole
hot.
is that?
His fiance
I was like, how
is
dare you guys
gorgeous.
watch porn without me?
We have 10 minutes. 10 minutes or so.
About 10.
Let's get phone
13.
calls. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Hey, this is Don calling from Downers Grove.
Don.
Hello,
what's up?
Don.
What happened?
I'm from Downers Grove.
Congratulations.
Don, do we know each other?
No, we don't.
Downers
I don't
Grove,
believe
baby.
Look at you.
South or
Yeah.
north?
I went to South.
Yes, that's the correct answer.
Look at you. All right.
Oh my God.
So
Don.
besides proposing to Kate, what
Yeah.
what do you have for us today?
I actually have a music question for you guys.
Ooh.
So,
I love it.
So hang with me a second. So if you guys were stuck on an island for all of time, what 5 albums would you have with you?
Oh, man.
Now,
Love that.
they have to be actual albums, not like best of.
Not
I wanna know,
compilations.
like, what?
Oh.
Right.
Wow,
I
Don,
want
you
to
got a
know
lot
what
of
albums
rules.
like kind of spoke to you.
5?
And, like, you can't live
No,
without.
we'll come up with that right now. Five albums is tough.
Out of the top of my head, definitely. I think I said this before.
The Doors.
Definitely, The Doors would
First
be a
one.
good
It's called The
one.
Doors.
Massive Attack, Mezzanine. Probably Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Blade Runner by Vangelis. And then I'm going to have to think about the other two. So you guys go.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. I got. We'll come back to it next week because that's 5. Because 5.
Yeah, no
It's
worries.
so
Yeah,
hard.
5.
I mean,
that's
Don,
just
well,
tough.
the White
Well,
Album?
just name a few that
Well,
you
the Doors
would
is
think.
the first one for sure.
'cause it's great.
Yeah, and or the Doors at Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, like a live one.
I know that it's a little kind of breaking its rules, but it's still a phenomenal live album.
I would have the Beatles' White Album.
Yes, me too.
I would have Dave Matthews Band Under the Table and Dreaming. I have Tori Amos' Little Earthquakes.
Nice.
The E.T. soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure. Led Zeppelin might get in there.
The Jizza, Liquid Swords, fantastic album.
What?
The Jizza?
Liquid Swords, it's a
What
good
about
one.
you, Kate?
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, number 1. Black Album, Jay-Z, number 2.
you.
White Album, Beatles, number 3.
Yeah.
And Downers Grove South Fight Song, number 4.
There you go. You know what was?
What about you, Don? Sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Sorry, Christian, it's my show now? This is my friend Don from Downers Grove, Illinois.
Right, of course. Give a shit if it's somewhere else.
I think for me it'd be let's see, Depeche Mode, Violator.
Yes, great choice, Don.
U2. Yeah, U2.
Joshua Tree.
Baby.
You just reminded me of my fourth one. Disintegration by The Cure.
Oh,
because that's similar to what he's saying. Yeah.
Probably Robin, Body Talk.
Oh,
nice choice.
Dying to Tell You This, and then probably Sasha, Air One Dagger.
Nice.
Such good taste, everyone.
And you can't do compilations or best of, but does that include Metallica with the live orchestra, S&M?
I think
live?
So. I think
I'm going to break the rules and put that on there.
Yeah.
Because I need that album in my life.
Don, thank you for the call. It was a good conversation. You know, it reminded me when he screamed yes from the thing, where we said White Album.
Yeah.
Last night, if Riley got scared, he would scream. And at one point, there was a monster, but there was a monster that was in the maze. And it scares Riley, and Riley goes, "Fuck you!" And, then he goes, "Yes!"
I love getting scared.
I don't know if you noticed, but Mark and I were like toddlers yesterday. Like it was like we were 2 kids during Christmas time. We were so happy.
It was the best.
It was amazing.
I love getting scared. Someone like, "Oh, you son of a bitch! Fuck you!" Woohoo!
Yeah.
Keep going.
Really great.
It's very accurate.
I got scared one time. I was like, "Damn you!"
Us got me once or twice, I think. But
I got scared by Slimer.
I always yell like, "No,
Slimer.
thank you, Slimer."
Yeah.
I'm always like, "No, thank you." It's like,
please stop.
No.
The youngest now, Dop it.
Dop
Dop it. Wants nothing to do with
Happy
me.
birthday to her today.
Yeah, she today. I put your shoes on. Dop it. Dop it.
You need shoes though.
Yeah.
Dop it, dummy.
Dop it. Dop it. She really was just she mushed me in the face the other day. Went dop it. Like that. Yeah. All right. Hey, you're on Collider Live. Who do we got?
Igla.
By the way, yesterday we probably sang the Collider Live song Universal like at least 5 or 6 times.
So it felt so bad for the PR people with us.
Yeah, they were like, "What is happening?"
In so many ways.
Hello, Igla. What do you got for us today?
Actually, since you guys were talking about the horror nights last night, that was my question. So you took Josh McCouga with you, and we all know how he gets. We know now that it's not a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw the Instagram story. Was there ever a point last night when you guys were genuinely concerned that Josh was going to grab the stranger and that stranger was just going to deck him in the face?
No, because people felt, and Katie said it when he grabbed Katie, she felt his fear. And I think
she felt like she had to protect him, even though she wasn't.
There was no one that he grabbed, and he grabbed a lot of people, and there was not one that was like, "Get the fuck off me." They were all like, and I think that partially they saw a camera following him around,
right?
And that was one of I was more concerned about Wendy.
I was more concerned about Wendy and Josh because there were points where I as much as I was laughing when the one time he fell, not the one time, but we both had to kind of pick him up and tell him, you have to keep going.
Right.
We were actually there.
That was Wendy though too. Wendy wouldn't there was a part in the maze where she just went to her knees, and that's when McCouga picked her up and said, "Go." You're right. They felt like they were in the front lines. Like,
they were on the
rushing
front. Like, go, go, go! I gotcha.
Yeah.
Medic.
The footage is going to be incredible. Like we'll play some of it on the show, but hopefully there's just like a long video that just plays because it was great. But no, I wasn't worried because people understood what it was for sure.
There was an inkling. I was like, oh, because when he picked you up, I was like, and then I saw it was like controlled chaos.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, and the worker.
A split second though that I was worried for my safety.
Were you? There was a worker there that was. So the way they do it, they put people in like black outfits, black hoods, and they have like little. Lights to show you where to go. They let you know which way to go. Exactly. They're not there to scare you. They're just there. But so this one lady, she's just standing there and pointing, and McCouga sees her and screams in her face because she scares him, right? So she looks at him like, "Come on, dude." It was
the mirror.
He turned around,
sees the mirror, and it's him, and
he screamed at himself in the mirror.
So great.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see.
I was telling Greg, I was like, "How did you not break in laughter while you were actually working the camera?" And he's like, "It was pretty funny."
I watched Frank. Frank was laughing, I would say 65% of the time. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the question, man. We'll do one more. But yeah, I can't wait for that full video.
Me too.
It's going to be fun
so
to dissect it and take little clips and show it. Or maybe that's what we do on this show. We can talk to Frank about it. Maybe just to take clips and talk about those clips, and then they can release the whole video.
Yeah.
That way it's simpler. We can try to maybe get something out here on Monday or Tuesday.
Lucky Frank.
Okay, hey, you're on this show. What's your name?
Hey, what's up? This is Philip from Colorado Springs.
What's up, man? What do you got for us today?
So, a couple of questions. One, do you guys ever talk about coming to Denver for the Schmodown?
I think it's one of these things. So, like I mentioned, we launched the Schmodown Entertainment Network, and we were trying to build. We're building up the revenue through both Patreon and the Schmodown Entertainment Network to try to get to more places next season because a lot of people don't understand that it takes a lot for the finances to travel, and we also have to make sure that the audience wants us there. So because we got to fly out a full crew, we got to put people up. So we need to, if we're going to rent out a place, it's got to be 300 to 400 people, so it's worth it. And we've run into issues before. We think, okay, we're going to have, like San Diego, for example, I think was the biggest thing because San Diego, I thought because of Star Wars Celebration, we would have the same kind of crossover. Star Wars Celebration, 1,000 people show up. So I said, it's the same thing for San Diego Comic-Con. We wound up getting like a little over 350 people or whatever it was, but it was a theater that sat like 750, 800 people. Problem was that Comic-Con is very different from Celebration.
Yes.
When Celebration is over, what they're showing that day, it's pretty much, okay, what else do we do? Oh, we'll go see the Schmodown. Comic-Con shit's going down from
constantly.
All the time.
Constantly.
There's panels at 11 p.m.
Everywhere. So to answer your question as far as Denver goes, I mean, this is why I always say go to the schmodownlive.com and request your city because we'll know. Like, for example, Boston is somewhere we're definitely going next year because a lot of people requested us to come to Boston. So it's not out of the realm. It's just a matter of when.
All right. Second question, trivia question.
Sure.
Name this movie, fantasy movie. It's got Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale in it.
Oh, it's the Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire. No?
Oh, man, I thought you guys would get stuck on that.
You're talking to two
champs in the room
two
here.
former Schmodown champions, man.
Well, I thought I'd try one.
That's fair. I like it.
Guys,
All right, thanks, brother. Nice. Thank you for the phone calls. All right, listen, that's the show.
We did it.
What a fun show it was here today. Look, Sony, man, making the moves, and Marvel and Sony back in bed together. They're gonna get their third Spider-Man movie. Good stuff. Cody's kid is wearing pants and sneakers. And you guys, if you want to get tickets to this weekend, tomorrow, 11:30 a.m., Kalinowski versus Janine the Machine live stream. And right afterwards, the announcement of the nuke. It's going to be 11:30 a.m., the schmodownlive.com. Next week, big show. Guess who's coming on Wednesday right now? Could cancel. CM Punk is coming in. That's right. CM Punk will be here on Wednesday. And get yourself over to heroesvillains.com for the last day, live 15. Peace out, Mother F's.